from the station working for you. This is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Thursday, December 17th, and right now on Good Morning Indiana.
I feel like I came into work where we might start to win this battle.
Healthcare workers say we've reached a turning point in the fight against COVID-19. This morning, their message of hope.
Never struggled more than I am doing right now. It's heartbreaking.
Thousands of Hoosiers could be forced out of their homes in just a few days. Working for you, the looming deadline and the resources available to help.
All right, let's go and talk about Chapter 12B.
Plus, since March, educators have been learning how to teach students virtually. We're talking to one teacher about the lessons they've learned to keep students from falling behind. Welcome in here to Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday. I'm Nicole Griffin in this morning for Lauren Casey.
Nicole, it is great to have you yet again with us on this Thursday morning. And Todd Clausen, we're looking at a much calmer Thursday.
Yeah, you know, Raphael, yesterday, 1 to 3 inches of snow across the area caused some issues on the roadways for your commute in the morning. And then by the afternoon, the roads were in decent shape. Today, we still have the clouds around, but no precipitation falling from those clouds. So definitely not a bright day for us, but it's not going to be a day that's going to feature any weather-related issues out there, with the exception of maybe a leftover slick spots on some non-heavily traveled roads or roads that aren't salted because the temperatures are still below freezing. So just be aware of that, especially county roads, rural roads, on those bridges and overpasses. Temperature right now 29 in Indy as well as Muncie, 30 in Bloomington. And as you look at downtown Indianapolis and the skyline, you notice you can't see the buildings clearly, and that's because there's just some moisture suspended in the atmosphere. We had some of that snow melt yesterday, and with the clouds in place, that moisture couldn't escape, and so we're just dealing with that damp feeling that's out there still. And you may see a flurry or two this morning, but nothing more than that. Overall, it's just a cloudy day for us with temperatures that aren't going to move much at all. We're in the 20s for the most part right now in most locations. Highs this afternoon, they'll only go up into the low 30s.
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a live look outside here at 603. This is I-465 at Man Road, where you can see traffic moving up to speed. Interstate roads are pretty much dry this morning. Todd did mention to watch out for maybe those overpasses, bridges, the ramps, where there could be some slick spots. But on my drive in to the station this morning, everything was pretty smooth. No issues to report.
When we received reports of the vaccine first hitting our state and first going in arms, and then pictures showing people actually getting it, has just been overwhelming to all of us.
Now on Good Morning Indiana, that's of course Dr. Christina Box. An emotional reaction from the state's health commissioner as more Hoosier healthcare workers receive the COVID-19 vaccine. And more COVID-19 vaccines are set to arrive at IU Health Methodist Hospital in downtown Indianapolis later today. The hospital, as you know, was the first in central Indiana and one of 5 across our state to receive doses of Pfizer's vaccine. We heard from many healthcare workers who were among the first to get vaccinated. They shared with WRTV their feelings of hope, pride, and relief.
There's just a lot of sadness with this. And so, again, it just makes today really exciting to feel like it's the first day I feel like I've came into work where we might start to win this battle.
I think that as healthcare providers, we have an obligation to kind of lead the way and to show our community that we trust in our science and our medicine, and that, we need to start eradicating this, this virus as quickly as possible. And we have a social obligation.
And we appreciate your service. After today's shipment, Methodists will get another 3,000 doses of Pfizer's vaccine on Monday.
In Raphael, 50 hospitals in Indiana expect to have doses of Pfizer's vaccine by the end of the week. This morning, the focus remains on vaccinating frontline healthcare workers while the supply is limited. Health officials are urging patience as more vaccines are approved and more plans for distribution are made in the coming weeks and months. Taking a look at some of the vaccine developments we are expecting in the coming days. Later today, the same FDA panel responsible for reviewing the Pfizer vaccine will meet to go over Moderna's vaccine. That means approval could come as early as this weekend. A CDC committee is also meeting this weekend to review Moderna's vaccine, and on Sunday they are voting on which Americans should be vaccinated next during phase 1A, phase 1B, and 1C of distribution, and that will help guide Indiana's distribution plans.
Nicole, now to the latest information of the pandemic's impact on our state. This morning, the state health department reports nearly 6,300 new COVID-19 cases. Since the pandemic began, nearly 441,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. Health officials also report 125 more Hoosiers have died with coronavirus. Wednesday was the fourth time this month with more than 100 deaths in a single report. According to this map you see there on your screen, the entire state still colored in either red or orange, the highest levels of spread. However, there are 26 counties in red this week, down from 36 just last week. As you know, red is the highest rate of spread.
All right, Raphael. Well, Christmas is a little more than a week away, and you see the countdown there on the bottom of your screen. And now Dr. Box is reminding Hoosiers to put safety first ahead of Christmas by following the CDC's guidelines. She says the safest way to see loved ones is virtually.
I know this guidance is hard, and yet another reminder of all that we have sacrificed in 2020. But I encourage you to get creative and think outside the box for your own family and for all those empty seats around the table this year. I truly believe that 2021 will be better.
Dr. Box says if you are gathering with family or friends, make sure to pay attention to whether any of them practice risky behavior when it comes to the spread of COVID-19 before spending time with them in person.
This is really serious because this morning, thousands of Hoosiers are at risk of being homeless, with the CDC's national moratorium on evictions about to expire. You see, Jennifer Morris lives on the far east side of Indianapolis and is facing eviction, but she is not alone. Up to 250,000 people are behind on their rent in our state. Morris was a personal driver before the pandemic hit, but had to stop working because she is at high risk. She says she reached out to numerous resources for rental assistance help and has nowhere else now to turn.
In my 53 years, never had an eviction, never. You know, never struggled as hard than I am doing right now. It's heartbreaking.
When the CDC national moratorium expires at the end of this month, experts say anywhere between 40 and 80,000 Hoosier households are at immediate risk of eviction. If Congress does nothing to release additional rent relief, the state will soon have to make some hard decisions to prevent thousands of Hoosiers from becoming homeless.
Well, schools are dealing with continuous changes during the pandemic, and that is a major challenge for both students and teachers. Our Kelsey Anderson is live this morning with how the teacher closest to her is handling the changes. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So I know we all know a teacher right now that is dealing with this pandemic. And my brother, he's a teacher here at Mount Vernon High School. So throughout the last 10 months, I have heard the highs and the lows of teaching right now when things go from hybrid to virtual to back to normal, back to hybrid, back to virtual again. So it's just an ebb and flow of changes. So my brother's name is Joe Anderson, and he, again, is a math teacher here at Mount Vernon High School. And he says some of the new techniques he's using to engage his students virtually are things he's always had access to. Some of them, like utilizing Canvas for more than just messaging, online study games, and Google Meets are things he will use even when school looks normal once again. He's also the technology integration specialist for the middle school and the high school, so his job also entails helping other teachers realize their resources that are right at their fingertips.
We've had a lot of conversations as a school and departments about how once COVID goes away, what tools do we make sure that we don't want to lose? Like, we've done all this work, and there's things that I never did last year that I'm definitely going to continue next year because they just work better. And it was something that I never maybe thought of to do if it wasn't for the COVID times and hybrids and virtuals and stuff like that.
Now, he says he and other teachers are obviously excited to get back to the normal classroom setting soon and continue to use their new technologies that they've learned during this pandemic. Now, he says his advice for other teachers who may be struggling right now is use your resources. He says he's learned from his coworkers, even people in other departments, and he says there are dozens and dozens of resources online available for teachers, including just Facebook groups where people are putting in their best practices and advice that things they've learned during this pandemic. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
All right, thank you there, Kelsey. You can see Kelsey's all bundled up. It's chilly outside this morning with temperatures that are sitting in the 20s, but wind chill values are down into the teens and right around 20 degrees in some locations. The good news is all the snow from yesterday is well off to the east. We're just dealing with clouds and a few flurries here throughout the day today. So while today's not the brightest or the warmest day, we do have sunshine returning as well as warmer temperatures in your 7-day planning forecast. More on that coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Our Hiring Hoosiers initiative works to connect you to job opportunities and training programs to better your career.
Our Lauren Casey reports on a new partnership that helps women behind bars get the training and the job experience that they need to set a new path.
Telework just means opportunity to me.
Shoshana Brent is an inmate in Rockville, Indiana. She tells me while she made some bad choices in her past, now she's focused on making good ones.
I have skills that I didn't even think that I could even obtain until I got here.
Shoshana is an employee of Televerde. Eventive Technologies announced a new partnership with Televerde. It's a sales and marketing organization that manages inbound customer service. Participation in this program is highly competitive.
I wanted to know what was going on because with Televerde, people recognize them.
Dave Abel is the president and CEO of Eventive Technologies. He says in addition to providing these customer service positions to incarcerated women, they work to connect people in prison with their families and provide them access to communications and learning materials.
You think about it as a citizen, as a taxpayer, it's expensive, and we need to get a greater value from our incarceration system. And we believe that this community is a community that is valuable, is essential to our growth as a country.
Right now, 45 customer service agents in Indiana are helping field calls between family, friends, and inmates through Televerde.
This also provides a wonderful opportunity for the women who are incarcerated who are working in this program. It not only provides them income and a fair wage, but it provides training opportunity, it provides skill development, and for many, it will provide a job post-incarceration.
It's empowering, especially behind these walls.
For Shoshana, this training and work could change her life.
I'm incarcerated, and I'm working for a global company. And I'm learning advanced technology, like everything. So I'll have the life skills that I need to be successful and to continue to have business conversations with CEOs of large companies.
And she's thankful to the Indiana Department of Corrections and Televerde for providing this opportunity to build a better life inside these walls.
Even when I'm going to be released, they're going to make sure that I have all the skills that I need to be successful. I'll be lined up with mentors from women who have been successful in their transition. I'll have help with college, housing, employment.
And her message to anyone who sees her story:
that we're not just our color that we wear, but the work that we're actually doing.
We wish you and all the other ladies all the best of luck. That was Lauren Casey reporting. Televerde also serves more than just families of incarcerated individuals. The company also works with Fortune 500 companies. For more information on this program and job opportunities with their parent company, Eventive Technologies, go to hiringhoosiers.com. Now time to check your local forecast. And Todd, great job yesterday with weather coverage. And on this Thursday, it's a good thing we don't need those shovels this morning.
No, you don't need the shovels here this morning. You just need to bundle up, Raphael, as we're just dealing with lots of clouds around, and you'll see a flurry or two, but it's not going to amount to anything. And overall, the weather pattern, for the most part, is going to be pretty quiet going forward. Now, the problem is, at least today, the temperatures don't really move a whole lot because of the clouds that will be in place. But as we work our way past tomorrow morning is still very cold. Once we get past that, you're going to like the temperatures as far as highs go for mid to late December, and overnight lows aren't all that bad. And then on Saturday, there could be a little brief wintry mix in the morning. More on that in just a minute. Outside right now, a lot of 29s and a lot of 30s out there for your temperatures. 30 in Bloomington, 29 in Indy. Go a little further to the north, tipped into Peru. Your temperature is sitting at 27 degrees. There's not much of a wind out there, but there's a damp feel that is out there combined with the temperatures where they are. And we're factoring in some wind chills in a few areas. Feels like 23 in Indy. 20 is what it feels like right now up in the Muncie area. The clouds are in place across the area. Again, don't be shocked if you see a flurry here or there across the area at any point throughout the day today. It's going to be drifting in off of Lake Michigan, but there's no organized storm system that is going to be heading our way. All the heavy snow right now is well off to the north and east there, a portion of the country, where they're measuring the snow this morning in feet as they're getting slammed with not only a lot of snow, but also some very, very gusty winds. So if you have any travel plans to the northeast, make sure you check with your airline. Temperatures today, as I mentioned, aren't really going to move a whole lot, only going up into the low 30s. 32 in Kokomo as well as Anderson, 34 in Petersburg, Indy's 33, 34 as well. And Shelby looking at a temperature today right around 35 degrees, and that 35 degree high temperature common in southern locations as well, Columbus over towards Bedford. This evening, it's quiet if you're heading to Newfields or to the State Fairgrounds or to the zoo to check out some of the holiday lights or anywhere else across central Indiana. Clearing skies late tonight, and that's going to set us up for, again, that very cold start to the day tomorrow with temperatures that will be in the 20s to start. But then throughout the day tomorrow, we do get the sunshine back, and that's going to help the temperatures a little bit. It's going to get us up into the upper 30s to right around 40 degrees, which is seasonable for this time of year. Then on Saturday, we get up to 41. So depending on when that precipitation comes in, if it comes in the morning, it could be a light wintry mix, but it quickly goes over to just some scattered rain showers. Then Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, as we enter Christmas week, looks very nice with plenty of sunshine and Raphael temperatures that'll be in the mid to upper 40s.
So on this cold Thursday, here's something to warm up your heart. At the end of the school day, several school buses took a slight detour across the street where there's a hospital to surprise healthcare workers. The honking, the sirens, and the cheers were all meant to raise the spirits of people working on the front line. On the ground, you saw this.
Just to say thank you during this very difficult time in 2020.
But from the drone, you got a better view of the mobile parade underway outside of Johnson Memorial Health, a sign of support with Franklin Community School buses filled with young people and their messages of encouragement for exhausted and committed healthcare workers.
We've been so busy, so full, so many patients that when any of that support, it kind of gives us that extra drive.
I think it is easy to feel forgotten, and so that community support has helped so much.
The buses were also joined by Franklin Police, the Johnson County Sheriff's Office, and Bargersville firefighters, to name a few.
We know that they're tired. We know that they're dealing with a lot, and just having to put a lot of effort out lately. And we want to make sure that they know that they're supported and that everybody cares for them, and that we really appreciate what they're doing.
This all comes as this facility and many others are weathering the global pandemic.
Time and time again, we need people to step up, work an extra shift, stay late, come in early, and they're doing it. And I think that it's great when the public acknowledges that.
Thanks to Johnson Memorial Health for that drone video. And beyond the parade, the hospital staff were serenaded by the talented and award-winning choir from the Franklin Community High School. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time now to take a look at the stories trending here at 6 o'clock.
Nicole, you know how much I love my cell phone, selfie stick, drones. I just have all these contraptions. In fact, I'm often distracted while even talking to you by looking at Netflix. No, I'm kidding about that. But listen, okay. A second-year graduate student at Duke University came up with and invented a UV sanitation station for small items like your cell phones. Yaya Remtula got the idea after a professor's speech about historical opportunities that usually come around with a major change. Remtula says sales have taken off for his Doctor's Choice UV sterilizer, which uses ultraviolet light to remove germs from items inside the box. I love that idea, and I hope it goes really well for him.
Yeah, it might
wow,
make for a
I
good
could use
Christmas
that.
gift for somebody.
Thank you, Nicole. All right.
All right.
You have my address.
Well, a couple in Illinois was looking for a little normalcy during the pandemic. Doug and Kim White converted a transit van into a personal dining room for two. Take a look at this. It's where they enjoy takeout from their favorite restaurants. They post photos of their outings on social media, providing even more support for those eateries they enjoy the most. And that is awesome because they're still supporting local, but they're staying safe in their little van there.
Yeah, you know what? I think we could do that with our news vans. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, let's do
The
it.
big satellite truck.
Head
seating
downtown
for
to a
six,
couple
since we are
restaurants.
WRTV. I always shop, right. Shop around, go around
Let's do
Central
it.
Indiana. You, me, Lauren, Todd, Kelsey. All right, we'll consider that.
It's a plan.
But in the meantime, members of a Facebook group and online community are carrying out small acts of kindness to spread a little joy. The group is called Sparks of Kindness. Members will do anything from tape a bag of popcorn to a DVD rental to leave a $1 bill for a kid to find in a toy section. The initiative was actually started 6 years ago by a Georgia photographer, Debbie McFarland, but interest has picked up during this pandemic. She says everyone has the opportunity to make a difference. And I do believe that. And Todd, I know you and I often talk about this in The Power of One, that people can, through their act of kindness, really cheer up someone on any day of the week.
Yeah, and it just takes one person, Raphael, and now, of course, with social media and everything, one person, that message could get spread to hundreds and even thousands of people, so it just takes one. Outside right now, temperatures, they're on the chilly side. We're in the 20s this morning in a lot of locations, a couple locales still in the 30s. When you factor in the wind, it feels even a little bit cooler, though, that is out there. So you definitely need to bundle up. And the big issue today is the fact that we're just not going to warm much at all, as we'll have cloudy skies from start to finish. You'll have a few flurries out there, but I'm not expecting much of anything in the way of sunshine. And the lack of sunshine and that west wind will prevent our temperatures from really warming a whole lot. Only about 32 the high today in Peru, 33 in Indianapolis. Just a few degrees warmer as you work your way into Bloomington and Columbus, as we'll get a little closer to 35 degrees. So have the coat, the hat, and gloves handy from start to finish.
All right, Todd, thank you. Unemployment benefits are scheduled to end in just a few days unless a new relief package is passed. Working for you, our John Matarese updates the progress on the package and those stimulus checks that we were promised.
With Christmas coming fast and many families about to run out of unemployment benefits, members of Congress are rushing to pass a new stimulus deal by the end of the year. Remember how we were supposed to get a second $1,200 stimulus check? Negotiations in Congress stalled during the election. But now with pandemic unemployment set to run out in the new year, Congress is scrambling and could possibly reach a deal by this Friday, then getting it to President Trump. The latest proposal, which both sides appear to agree on, a $900 billion package, less than the first one, but it would extend unemployment benefits, help struggling small businesses, and send a $600 check to most adults earning less than $100,000 a year. That's half the original checks, but better than nothing. Children would also get $600, so a family of four could receive $2,400 just as those holiday bills hit. Assuming Congress can reach a deal the next few days, we could see another round of stimulus checks around New Year's. So please don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday morning, this is your 6:30 news feed. About 200 Indiana National Guard soldiers and airmen received the COVID vaccine on Wednesday. The vaccinations were part of a separate shipment of vaccines allocated by the U.S. Department of Defense. Guard members, as you know, have been on the front line of the pandemic response missions, including at long-term care facilities.
2 new nonstop flights are available out of the Indianapolis International Airport. They are headed for Fort Myers, Florida and Cancun, Mexico. United Airlines will launch the nonstop flights to Fort Myers at 11:45 this morning, and a new flight to Cancun from American Airlines will take off Saturday morning at 11:18.
Nicole, because you are kind every day, you could win one of these, I'm sure. You could win a gift card simply for being kind, but only if you live in Fishers. The city has launched a 2,000 Acts of Kindness challenge. The Fishers wants people who live there to complete all of those acts of kindness between now and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day on January the 18th. The city has committed $100,000 in gift cards from locally owned restaurants to distribute to residents for sharing their acts of kindness. What a great way to shop local, support local, and of course to get communities to really be kind to each other. I hope others will copy Fishers, Nicole. That's a great idea.
I know. I need to look into it a little bit more because I go to all those local restaurants there. But looking ahead, speaking of Fishers, Todd, I drove from Fishers to downtown Indy this morning. I left a little early because I just wasn't sure how the roads would be, but they were completely fine this morning.
Yeah, you know, we have no additional precipitation falling with the exception of a few flurries, which is not going to hamper the roads. The main roads had an opportunity to dry out. So your commute should be a lot easier this morning. The one kind of little disclaimer we'll put out there is some rural roads or county roads that aren't treated as well as the main thoroughfares. Just watch out for maybe an isolated slick spot here or there due to refreezing because temperatures this morning are below freezing. The view from IMS shows the downtown skyline is hampered by a little bit of cloud cover. The view is hampered, I guess I should say. And that's just because of moisture that's in the atmosphere. We had some snow melt yesterday, but we had the solid deck of clouds that were out there, so that moisture just didn't have an opportunity to escape, and that's given us kind of a damp feel this morning. With temperatures hovering in the upper 20s to low 30s. Again, don't be shocked if you see a flurry, but the main storm system is now well off to the east, so going forward throughout the day today, not much changes. It's cloudy from start to finish, and the temperatures go from where we are right now, right around 30 degrees, only up a couple degrees throughout the afternoon to highs in the low 30s. Nicole?
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a live look outside at the roads right now. I-74 at Post Road here, where you can see traffic moving up to speed. Roads are dry on the interstates, as Todd mentioned. Yeah, be aware of some slick spots, maybe on those side streets or in the rural areas. We do know DPW crews are focusing on the residential streets at this hour, so that is good news for your morning commute. Raphael.
1 year ago, much of America, much of Indiana, I was learning how to say his name after he decided to run for president. And now the former mayor of South Bend is headed to Washington, D.C. in a different role. On Wednesday, President-elect Joe Biden made it official, saying that he would nominate Pete Buttigieg to serve as his Secretary of Transportation. Buttigieg was among the many Democrats who lost to Biden in this year's primary, but afterward, he campaigned heavily for Biden, and the president-elect compared the former mayor to Biden's late son, Beau. Buttigieg also says he knows his nomination is historic.
I can remember watching the news, 17 years old in Indiana, seeing a story about an appointee of President Clinton named to be an ambassador, attacked and denied a vote in the Senate because he was gay. I watched that story and I learned something about some of the limits that exist in this country when it comes to who is allowed to belong. But just as important, I saw how those limits could be challenged. So 2 decades later, I can't help but think of a 17-year-old somewhere who might be watching us right now. Somebody who wonders whether and where they belong in the world, or even in their own family. And I'm thinking about the message that today's announcement is sending to them. So thank you, Mr. President-elect. Thank you for honoring your commitment to diversity. With this administration,
if confirmed, Buttigieg would be the first openly gay person confirmed by the Senate to a cabinet post.
In Washington, Vice President Mike Pence is expected to get the COVID vaccine during a public event tomorrow. Second Lady Karen Pence and Surgeon General Jerome Adams will receive the vaccine as well. President-elect Joe Biden is set to get vaccinated early next week, also in a public setting. Meanwhile, a White House official says President Trump is still benefiting from the antibody cocktail he was given after getting the virus in the fall and will not be vaccinated anytime soon. They are not yet medical professionals, but they are still doing their part. Next, the reason they are volunteering to help those on the front lines survive.
The virtual world has been really hard on students and on teachers. Coming up, how one teacher made the adjustment and how he learned lessons that will carry him past this pandemic. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Hundreds of Hoosiers training to be doctors and nurses. They're stepping up to help give out the COVID-19 vaccine. I want you to meet Sophia Joseph and Joey Linke. They're second-year med students at IU. Both also have family members in the medical field. They tell us they have seen firsthand the toll that this pandemic is taking on healthcare workers, and that's why they want to volunteer.
So my mom, she works in the hospital, and so she actually has been working in the COVID unit recently. I have a little brother. He's in elementary school, so he's actually been living at my grandparents' house just so we can avoid exposure of him to my mom.
My mother's a nurse, and she got COVID and was out. She's still kind of recovering with been sleeping all the time. My dad ended up in the ER actually for 3 or 4 days, and it kind of rocked our family a little bit. And I have other siblings that are nurses and stuff, so really it's kind of hit home. That's definitely why I want to be a part of today, and then here on out.
Well done to both of you. The medical students also say they hope to spread the word to those who are skeptical of the vaccine. They want you to know that it's safe and that you should get one as soon as it's available. The pandemic has brought consistent change for schools as schedules, go from normal to hybrid to virtual, back and forth, Nicole, like a seesaw, up and down, up and down.
Yeah, and it's a challenge for students, and it's a challenge for teachers as well. Our Kelsey Anderson is live right now with how the teacher closest to her is handling all the changes. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So we all know a teacher who is dealing right now with the ever-changing classroom style that the pandemic is bringing. And so my brother, he's a high school teacher here at Mount Vernon High School. He teaches math, but he says there's a lot of new tricks and techniques he's learned during the pandemic that he says he'll continue to use when things hopefully get back to normal.
All right, let's go and talk about Chapter 12B.
Joe Anderson is a math teacher at Mount Vernon High School.
Then identify the solid, if it is a polyhedron.
And while class is still in session, the classroom is empty.
We've kind of explained it like a carpenter going to work and none of their tools work and they still have to do their job.
The high school is running under a hybrid model with one virtual day, meaning on Thursdays, no one besides the teacher is in the classroom. The changes forcing teachers to find new ways to reach their students.
We've had a lot of teachers really reinvent what they've been doing, finding new tools to make their learning still successful for their kids. Again, we are going to do 3 Kahoot reviews today, and then stay on when you're done. We're going to do a Canvas mini quiz.
On top of teaching, my brother also serves as the technology integration specialist for the middle school and high school.
So a lot of teachers have been using new tools, utilizing Google Meet and Zooms, obviously, like we've never had to do.
He's been training his coworkers how to better utilize the technology they've had all along.
It's a lot of usually just use it for announcements or use it to post like a quick message, and now we have teachers making quizzes and tests within it, assigning homeworks and projects through Canvas and Google Classroom like we haven't done before. So it's a lot of helping them when I'm not teaching and kind of incorporating a lot of our new skills.
New skills, he says, he and other teachers will keep, even when students can be in the classroom full time.
But I think a lot of teachers are excited for getting back into the classroom next year, hopefully full time, and kind of keeping those tools in their tool belt, but also getting back to a little bit of normalcy.
He has this advice for teachers who may be struggling to find new ways to engage their students.
Use your resources, use your friends, use your teammates, and go out of the department. I've seen some people in the music department that have been using stuff that I've incorporated into my class. So yeah, just reach out, ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
So today is a scheduled virtual day for every kid in the district at Mount Vernon. Each Thursday they're virtual. And his advice for students who are learning at home right now is to get rid of those distractions. Turn off the TV, put your phone away, and engage in the classroom setting like you would if you were in the physical building. He says that's the best way you're going to be able to engage in that classroom and get the most out of what your teachers are doing. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Interesting story. Thank you so much, Kelsey. Well, it is the way you prepare for any situation. Practice, practice, practice. Next, a closer look at a drill that will start saving lives very soon. Todd.
And Nicole, it's chilly, it's cloudy outside as we get going on this Thursday morning. But as we progress into the rest of this week and into the weekend, temperatures are going to take a nice jump forward and we are going to be above normal. But will the warmer temperatures come with sunshine? We'll talk all about it coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast when Good Morning Indiana continues in just a couple minutes.
Welcome back. The first wave of COVID vaccines are being given across the state from Allen to Marion counties.
This morning, I want to take you behind the scenes where one local hospital that's receiving their first shipment of vaccines today, they held a mock drill, Nicole, to make sure that they can get the job done.
I'm here to get my vaccine.
Brent Shepard is an RN in cardiology, participating in this drill. He's among the staff at Johnson Memorial Health, practicing on how they will give the COVID-19 vaccine beginning on Friday. During this test run and during the real thing, once a person registers, which should take about 5 minutes, you must follow the blue line on the floor to your assigned vaccination room.
We're almost there. We have to stay vigilant. We need to protect one another. That's the only way we can truly be in this together and get through this together.
After taking your seat, the process of getting the vaccine begins. No actual medication was used during the drill.
Are you ready? Yep.
The moment after getting the shot, you'll get a timer with 15 minutes on it. That's how long you must stay in the room to make sure you don't have a negative reaction to the drug. The team also practiced what that scenario could look like, which may involve a trip to the emergency room.
We need to watch people. We need to make sure that they're not having a reaction right away. Of course, we're not expecting that. It's very rare to have a reaction. Sure. But we do need to watch people to make sure that they're okay before we let them go.
This all unfolded on Wednesday in the hospital's old emergency room. The goal, to test every step of the vaccination process.
I think of hope is making sure that everybody is aware that this is just not about them, and they should really think about getting the vaccine.
This a snapshot of the planning undertaken by a regional hospital, one of many now injected into the fight, seeking a victory over the virus. Is set to get 975 doses in its first shipment of the Pfizer vaccine. The goal is to vaccinate 22 people every hour that it's open for that vaccination process. Now, time to check your forecast on this Thursday. And this Thursday, Todd Clausen, I think you're going to promise that it's shovel-free. Is that right?
No shovel needed here for the day today, Raphael. That is the good news. You may see a flurry or two throughout the day, but we are not talking about any accumulating snow. But we do have lots of clouds that are around, not only this morning, but they're going to be sticking around throughout the entire day. And that's the problem, because we're not going to see the skies brighten, and that's not going to allow the temperatures to warm. The view here from IMS shows that moisture. You can't see the skyline completely clear like you would on a clear day, and that moisture is just kind of suspended in the air, and it's making you feel a little bit cooler than it actually is. 29 is your current temperature in Indy, but it feels like 22 degrees. Not much of a wind out there, but again, the wind chill doesn't get factored in with the moisture in the air. That's only based upon the temperature and the wind speed, but it actually feels colder out there than even what those wind chill values are showing. 26 in Richmond right now, 30 in Bloomington. Here are those wind chill values, which range anywhere from 20 to about 31 degrees across the area. But again, it does feel a little cooler than that just because of the dampness that is out there. As far as your actual temperatures go, they're not going to move much at all. We're only going from the upper 20s this morning to the low 30s 30s throughout the afternoon hours. In fact, we'll be pretty steady from the noon hour through about 4 p.m. with that temperature that's going to be right at 33 degrees. And there could be a flurry or two. Don't be shocked if you see one today, especially if you live in northern locations. But the big storm system from yesterday is now well off to the east. But if you do have travels to the East Coast, lots of flight cancellations. So make sure you check with your airline if that's in your plans. Sunset this evening is at 5:22. Once we work our way throughout the evening hours, the clouds will slowly start to break apart, and that trend will continue throughout the overnight hours. And that's going to lead us to a very cold start tomorrow morning. We're going to be in the low 20s in many locations to start the day tomorrow. And then eventually we'll see the temperatures climb up into the upper 30s, which is seasonable for this time of year. And tomorrow is going to be a brighter day for us. That is the good news. So it's brighter, it's a little bit warmer, and then the warming trend will continue into the weekend. Saturday, there's a very small chance of a little bit of a light wintry mix early on in the day, but it would transition over to just some rain showers if it happens at all, with temperatures that will be in the low 40s. And then Sunday through midday Wednesday, plenty of sunshine and above normal temperatures, as highs will be anywhere from 40 to 46 degrees, and even the overnight lows, not all that bad. They'll stay in the 30s. Nicole?
All right, Todd, thank you. It is 6:50. We are taking a live look here at I-65 near the Greenwood exit. Good morning to everyone waking up with us in Johnson County. You can see the camera did freeze on us here, but the roads are dry here in this area. No major problems or delays across our area at this hour. It is time for Throwback Thursday, and Raphael, for a lot of Hoosiers, the holiday season wasn't entirely a happy one 30 years ago this month. It's because one of their favorite spots was closing for good.
So let's take you back when shoppers would flock downtown to the legendary Ellis Ayres department store. That's where you'll find the cherub on the clock. That's where that store used to be. When it was time to take a break from finding that perfect outfit, you dine on chicken and salad, or maybe that famous chicken velvet soup on the 8th floor at the Ayres Tea Room. It was popular for decades, but by the 1980s, the cup was starting to run dry. And in November of 1990, Ayres announced that the tea room would close for good at the end of that year. That decision brought out another type of tea party. We're talking about protesters and petitions. And as WRTV's Linda Lupier found out, tea room regulars, they were infused with anger.
This is a place where generations of young ladies learned how to enjoy a dainty repast in an elegant setting. However, the rush of the present has put an end to the white glove and veiled hat luncheon, but not to the idea.
And it would be a shame. This is something I know sometimes our family has gotten together for the holidays and special occasions at the tea room, and it's something I always remember.
Linda Lupier, another great storyteller. The tempest over the tea room did not save it. The owners of Ellis Ayres, the May department store company, did shut it down, and the entire Ayres store will be closed less than 2 years later. Now, you can still, however, get a taste of the Ellis Ayres tea room, as it's recreated every holiday season at the Indiana State Museum, another great place to visit right here in central Indiana.
Wow, I've never even heard of this story. That's very interesting. Well, coming up here on Good Morning Indiana, he's back just weeks after a life-changing event. We'll show you whether he'll be back in uniform soon, and we'll have more of your top stories coming up. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 6:55. Todd will have a look at your forecast coming up next. But first, here are your top stories.
Let's get started. More vaccines are set to arrive at IU Health Methodist Hospital in downtown Indianapolis later today. The hospital was the first in central Indiana and one of 5 across our state to receive doses of Pfizer's vaccine. The shots are being given to frontline healthcare workers first. 50 hospitals in Indiana expect to have doses of the vaccine by the end of this week.
Colts punter Rigoberto Sanchez is back with the team only 2 weeks after surgery to remove a cancerous tumor. Sanchez practiced with the team on Wednesday. He says he is thankful for his teammates and for Colts fans and their support. Head coach Frank Reich says there is a chance Sanchez will suit up for the Colts game against the Houston Texans this Sunday. And I am very happy to hear that. We missed him last week, even though we still got the win, Raf. It's good to see him back.
Yeah, Go Colts and Nicole, I think we would be cousins if I were athletic, but since I'm not, we're not related.
I know Todd has a joke for this.
I do have a joke, but I am not going to say it. But it has
text me
something
later.
to do with the
text
kicking
me later.
league,
Let me know.
so I'll just kind of leave it there. All right, outside right now we are dealing with temperatures that are right around 30 degrees. As we go forward in this forecast, you do notice a nice warming trend that'll be heading our way. Today, no sunshine. Tomorrow, we see the sunshine return. Then as we get into next week, as we enter the week of Christmas, temperatures are going to be above normal. So the chances of a white Christmas really decreasing here. Monday, 46 degrees. Tuesday, mostly sunny skies and a high temperature. Nicole, that'll be right around 44 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. We are back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with more news, weather, and traffic updates. We leave you here with a live look looking downtown. We hope you have a great Thursday.